All right, so in the last video, we talked about customer avatars a little bit and the importance of having those client stories or those customer stories or those user stories, depending on the field that you're in. A customer avatar is an incredibly important aspect of every single social media marketing plan or strategy out there, and that includes a holistic strategy. When we talk about strategy in the next video, we're going to talk about not just specifically to Instagram, but from a holistic standpoint as well. But before we get there, we need to kind of begin to understand a little bit more about our audience and start to draw conclusions about to who they are, what they do, and how much money they make so that we can target them appropriately. So we need to begin with understanding where to find and research information about our customers. And there are a couple of different elements that you need to be making sure that you have on your checklist. The first is to ensure that you are researching your clients that you currently have or your customers that you currently have via your Instagram Insights or your Google Analytics. Then take both of those elements and combine the data together to gain a better understanding about where you lie in terms of who your current audience is. And if you don't have that information, a good place to start is to begin looking through competitors or like-minded individuals who are similar to the business idea that you have so that you can have a better understanding of who their audience is and who you want your audience to be as well. The other element that you need to ensure that you're including is that you are also looking at all of your competitors' websites and what their pricing is on their products and services so that you can price yourself appropriately to be competitive with their pricing as well. Maybe you're a little bit higher, maybe you're a little bit lower, or maybe you are super discounted in comparison to them. It really just depends on some of the revenue research that you do, which is not something we're going to cover here, but something that I'll cover maybe down the line. So let's begin by understanding our customer avatar sheet. So if you refer back to your computers, you can put this video on the side and pull up your worksheet number 12 as well as the customer avatar sheet. In your worksheet number 12, you are going to have a couple of different exercises that you're going to work through. The first exercise is to take out worksheet number 7, where you worked on your beliefs. You're going to think of the type of person that first came to mind when you originally wrote out all of your beliefs. Then you're going to write down as many notes about that kind of person as humanly possible. You can type it out, you can draw a picture of that person. Whatever works for you is what I'd like for you to go with when it comes to visualizing your customer. After you've completed exercise number 1, I'd like for you to move on to exercise number 2. This is where you're going to take that visualization of someone that you've created based off your beliefs and now understand, are they a key decision maker within the business or within their life or family home? Do they have an ability to pay? Do they have an awareness of the problem or the solution that you are providing to them? And yeah, products can be a solution to a problem they might have. Once you've completed that and you've begun to write down a couple of notes about this person, and it can be multiple different people. You don't have to bring every single avatar you're thinking of into one person. That's just going to complicate your targeting. You then are going to move on to writing down some known pain points or the situation that this person might be in. You're also going to talk about some of the unmet or unspoken needs this person might have. Now, when we talk about unmet or unspoken needs someone might have, that whether they are lacking it or they're trying to work around something that they might be having as an issue, a great idea to think of is you in this situation as well. When you originally designed, let's say, this amazing backpack for people who take the subway, when we talk about unmet or unspoken needs, something that we need to think about are the kinds of unspoken and unmet needs that you might have about the product that you originally created. So let's say that your customer is someone who is focused on being a worker in the city. That is their love and their passion in life. They love living in the suburbs and commuting to the city, but in order for them to commute to the city, they have to take a train and maybe a subway or a bus or a taxi or some form of transportation where they need to be carrying all their stuff with them in a way that's easy to carry around. Some of the unspoken needs this person or individual might have are ways to secure that bag so that no one can get into it when they're maybe falling asleep on the subway because they work 15-hour shifts. or they need some way to carry around their lunch or their food so it's not constantly getting warm or overheated when it's in the summertime. Another unmet or unspoken need that might be considered for someone like this is if they live in a place where the weather tends to shift and change without any kind of warning. Making sure that you have a backpack that can store maybe an umbrella in case it rains, or some kind of rain jacket, or has a rain jacket that comes out of the backpack like a weird transformer or something. Those are unspoken needs that someone's going to have about some kind of amazing, crazy backpack that they're looking for. So understanding like every kind of aspect about that customer and the product that you have and its relationship with that person and their living circumstances are things that you need to begin to think about here. This is going to help you create your strategy going forward. The next thing you need to think about are the emotions that they might be feeling currently. Maybe they're frustrated, maybe they're a little unsure about the kind of backpack that they need. Whatever those emotions are, write them down. They can be positive or negative. Whatever you think helps identify that customer a little bit more clearly when it comes to their emotions is what I want you to focus on. Once you've finished exercise number 2, you'll move on to exercise number 3. This is where you're going to answer some of these questions. How will you solve their known pain or situation? How will you fulfill their unmet needs or unspoken needs? How do you want to inspire them to feel about you and your brand? These are all questions that are written down on worksheet number 12 and will be there for you to answer at your will. There are some questions that might not be listed on this worksheet that really adhere to who you are as a brand specifically, especially like if you're not a product person, or if you are really focused on being an influencer. Maybe you need to be more in tune with everyone and more on an emotional level. So answering those questions on an emotive level is probably something you want to make sure you're including in your customer avatar sheets. So let's move on to going over the actual customer avatar sheet themselves. So going back to your computer, pull up your customer avatar sheet. This is one of my favorite sheets. It's inspired by a digital marketer who is by far one of the greatest digital marketing companies and works with everything from a holistic standpoint. I'm all about being holistic when it comes to your marketing. So this customer avatar sheet that you create is not just going to be for Instagram, it's going to be for everywhere else as well. One of the really important aspects of this customer avatar sheet are the goals and values section. Because when you think about it, not every single one of your clients are going to have the same exact goals and values as another. A really great example would be a mother of 5 versus a mother of 2. These two households have totally different needs. The vehicle needs of having 5 kids is totally different than the vehicle needs of someone who has just 2. So you need to make sure that you're incorporating some of those lifestyle circumstances within the goals and values aspect of this sheet. The next thing that is going to be a little bit easier for you to work on are the challenges and pain points. Those tend to be similar to the goals and values that you create for this individual. And they're always going to be very similar to the pain points and challenges that you address with your product or service. Another point that you need to be looking at are the sources of information. Where is this customer looking for a solution to their problem? Are they looking through books, magazines? Are they researching Google? Are they looking on other social media platforms? Where are they finding their information? And you need to make sure that, again, from a holistic standpoint, you're not just addressing their concerns over Instagram, that you're also capable of transferring that message to other platforms and other mediums. The other section, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of this customer avatar sheet, are the objections and roles. You need to make sure that you are addressing potential objections. There are always going to be people who will say something about your product or service and how it doesn't fit their needs or how it doesn't adhere to their standards in life, and you need to make sure that you're able to address as many of those objections as possible so that you can squash any kind of wonder about whether or not your product or service is actually great for the world. Another thing to look at is role in the purchase process. Where are they at in their purchase process? Are they a cold lead, a warm lead, or a hot lead? When we talk about those three things, a cold lead is someone who is brand new to your company or your product or service, and they have no idea who you are, what you do, or why you're better than everybody else. So you need to make sure that when you're thinking about your content and your strategy, you're addressing all three of these types. A warm lead is someone who is familiar with your brand, but isn't quite sold on who you are and what products and services they have, because maybe they're a little in depth in the research stage and trying to identify who or what might be best for them. A hot lead is someone who is a brand advocate. They are dedicated to your brand, they are all about you and only buy from you. You will always be able to have these people be your soundboards and your brand advocates throughout all of the digital world. So when you're thinking about giving your loyal, dedicated followers a really great perk for being so dedicated to you, think about other like-minded accounts or businesses that you could partner with to give them some really great benefit for being so loyal to you. A great example is Julep. They are a nail polish and makeup company. A like-minded brand would be Fresh, which does face washes and facial masks and things like that. So something that you could do is if someone's been subscribing to their box for 12 months, on the anniversary of their subscription, you can say, thank you for being such a dedicated follower. Here's a 10% off discount through Fresh. And you can purchase this really great face wash that'll complement the kind of skincare that you've been working with so far. Something like that really helps bring in more followers because they want to get that discount too. They want to be able to brand with you and grow with you as a brand. In the middle of this customer avatar sheet, you will see a couple of other really basic facts that you do want to make sure you put in the sheet. That includes their name. I honestly love making up the most ridiculous names possible, but try to make sure that the stories that I create are true to someone that could be within that role. How old are they, which is incredibly important. How to determine what age you want to put in this sheet is to look at the data you've collected from your Instagram and your Google Analytics and any other social media platforms that you have data from. Next, grab their gender. It's always good to put in male, female, questioning, LGBT, like how are they identifying themselves gender specifically. Then put in their marital status. There are products and services that are specific to engaged couples, married couples, singles, divorced, widowed. So making sure that you put in that kind of marital status will be important to determine how effective your targeting will be later down the road. Do they have any children? How old are their kids? The needs of a mom with teenagers is very different than the needs of a mom with young kids. Next, you need to take a look at their location. Are you a location-specific brand? Make sure that you have in there, if you are a location-specific brand, what city or neighborhood they might be in so that you can better target when it comes to geographical targeting on your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads or whatever other kind of ads you're creating. Below that, there's a quote. So it could be like they're quoting themselves on what is their pain point or what they love about your product. So you could have some cold leads, warm leads, and hot leads for your customer avatars to kind of get that flow going. Another thing, you want to see what their occupation is. What is their job title, their annual income? Can they afford your product or service? That is really important. If you're someone who's a subscription box company and you expect them to pay $50 every single month, that needs to be some really great person with tons of money who can afford to buy $50 of subscription boxes every single month. Another thing too is to take a look at their level of education. Are they a high school graduate? Are they still in high school? Are they college, master's degree, doctor? The more detailed you can get with your targeting, the more successful your ads and your targeting on social media as a whole will be. Last, if there are any other details that you want to make sure that you put in for your customer avatar, ensuring that you add any other details to the customer avatar sheet is crucial to your success as an individual brand. So this was a lot for this video. You have a lot of work that needs to get done to create these customer avatars. So the best thing for you to do right now is to begin brainstorming those 5 different kind of people that you want to begin targeting. And maybe as your brand goes on, maybe there are more people that you want to include within your customer avatars or stories sheets. So making sure that you start with 5 and are able to identify 5 very different people as your target market is really going to help you become successful when it comes to building your strategy in the next video, as well as beginning to understand how to talk to these individuals. Until next time, good luck, and if you have questions or concerns or need some help and inspiration when it comes to your customer avatar sheet, I'm always here. You can schedule a one-on-one call with me, and we'll take some time to break down customer avatars and help you come up with maybe your first or your second one if you're feeling a little stuck. As always, you can hit up our Facebook group and ask for anyone's help when it comes to creating the customer avatar or any helpful tips or tricks. I'll see you in the next one.